Hello, my name is Emmanuel Mogaji. I'm a lecturer in advertising and marketing communication at the University of Greenwich in London. Uh, Today, I just want to share with you what I describe a one slide challenge. It's been something I've been working on to enhance my teaching and also the learning and engagement with the students. So the background is actually focused more on PowerPoint and its use in classroom. So a lot has been said and done on the use of PowerPoint, its impact on student experience and student learning has been uh, examined, and often it's seen not beneficial. Actually, some have even suggested that PowerPoint is killing critical thinking because they feel students are not getting engaged and they just sit there and look at the slide and don't really uh, participate. While some has even called for universities to ban PowerPoint because it makes students stupid and professors boring. So there's been this backlash against PowerPoint. But I just thought that it's not really about the tool, it's not really about PowerPoint, but the presenter. So the PowerPoint is there for you to use, but it's left for you to use it in a way that can enhance your learning, in a way that can enhance the students' learning and also their engagement. So they are not just sitting down there just watching you read from the slide. And you've got some major concerns, which are these bullet points, smart font size. So often people at the back says they can't see it, or there's too much text on it because it's just a lot on the screen and people just sit there and look at it. And also students feel that the lecturers are just reading from the slide. So often they can say it's better for me to just stay at home than to come and watch the lecturer be reading it from the slide. Some people complain about the bad background color and images, which can also be distracting. So with these issues around PowerPoint and the presenter, I asked myself, what can I actually do differently, taking into consideration that this is something I have to use on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, teaching students, attending conferences, giving presentation. So I decided to actually stick with the tool. That is, I keep using PowerPoint. That is something that everybody has to use now. And I changed the presenting mode. So in that, I decided to actually reduce my presentation into just one slide. So on a typical day, my presentation could be around 24 to 30 slides. But I just decided to challenge myself and to just summarize it into one slide. That's something I'm just putting on the screen throughout my lecture, and that is going to be what I'll be talking about. And here is an example of what I did in February 2018, which I talked about the brand culture. So in this course, I was teaching brand management, and brand culture was one of those topics that needs to be covered under brand management. So I just identified the key things that I was talking about: the customer, the brand, and also the staff. So I was able to graphically illustrate it, and this was my first time of trying to do it because I felt, you know what, I can't just be talking from the slide. I just want something more interactive, more engaging. I didn't actually mind my handwriting. I just wanted to find a way to graphically illustrate what I've got to talk to, what I've got to deliver that morning in class, identifying the key things, the key messages, and also trying to see how it relates together, using arrows, trying to see the way it relates to each other. So from the consumers to the brand, there's relationship; from the brands to the staff, there's relationship. What links them together? So the consumers, it's just graphically illustrating what I wanted to teach the students. So on a day, typical lecture could last for 50 minutes. So just one slide for talking about it for 50 minutes. So it can be a challenge, but I just tried to do that. So that was my first time. Then here I tried to make it quite neater. So I did another one again by the 23rd of March. So I was trying to make it cleaner, easy to read and engage, changing the font size, perhaps still using my handwriting, but at least trying to make it simple, concise, and actually straightforward to the point. The student actually know the important things to take away from the lecture. So there, I migrated to more of the design, because then I feel, you know what, I think I like this idea, and I've decided to actually use it on a bigger scale to actually make it more colorful and also more interesting. So this is just something I had to do, because then I had to animate each section. So this is something I have as a slide, but in class I had to animate every part of it because I want it to be very engaging. So it's just one slide, but it's been able to it evolves over time. So I'm not just going around, but at least they know one slide and they can follow it. So it actually starts from recognizing who is the key person in today's class, which is about media planning and media objective, and also recognizing that as a media planner. So the media planner needs to set the marketing objective, which are to sell 500 mobile phones. Then the media objective, then the consumers, the consumers, the relationship between the consumers and the media planner, understanding the consumers, then also the relationship between the consumers and the media objective, which includes setting objective, and also the third point, integrating that objective. So in this, I've been able to identify how the key terms relate together, and also some action plans to do. So this is what they will see at the end of the class. So it's actually one slide, one image, but I've been able to actually progress and make it more engaging and more interesting. And it's been a wonderful experience, and that's why I thought of sharing it, because I think it's a challenge that I try to put myself in, but so far it's been good. And what are the outcome? There was more engagement and eye contact with the students, because they feel they are not just waiting for the next slide to be read. Often I just put one there, I talk about it, so there's that engagement, there's that contact to what I'm talking about. Students took down more notes, because they don't really have to start writing from my bullet points on the PowerPoint. They listen to me and they take note from what I've been talking about. And the engaging slide with the animation also kept them alert, because they don't know what is going to come up next. Though it's still just one slide, but they don't know what is going to come on next. So that keeps them at alert and more engaged. And there was, for me, on a personal level, there was less time reading from the slide, but more of lecturing. So if I just put out one image, I can talk about it, I can really engage the student. And also on a personal note, I had a better understanding of what I was lecturing, because I had to prepare extra hard. Just having that one slide, sometimes you might just be blank, you don't know what to talk about. But again, that is where the preparation comes in. That was where I was able to, again, prepare, read up, know how these things flows into each other. How do I want to present this for 50 minutes without getting bored, without losing any important bit? So on a personal level, it was a challenge, but it also helped me to engage more with the materials, to engage more with the teaching, and also with the student. However, there's still some downside. It's not been very easy, and students may want full PowerPoint on the virtual learning environment. So I had to create two versions. So one version for the VLE, which is all my 23 or 30 slides, everything there. But for the one I present in the class, I actually use just one slide. So it takes effort to just develop both slides. So you develop one for the VLE, which you upload to Moodle or to Blackboard, whereby the student can download 2-3 days time, or those who didn't attend the lecture can actually download it and they can read. And also on that, Ponopto, which is recording the lecture, is only going to capture one slide, so that could actually be different. And I must say, it's maybe difficult to compress. Just putting all the 23 slides into one, it might not be easy, but that's something I've tried to challenge myself. And so I've want to tell myself, what is the one thing that I want to talk to students today? Having that central message, then find out how it relates to each other. And also, it requires creative skills to design and develop. That's something I've come to realize. Like, yes, though I might be writing it by hand, but over time, I think it needs to be properly designed and developed. And the slide animation may also be an issue, but there are apps like the Explain Everything, which is on iPad, which is also the screencasting app. So again, that's some of those things that can be used. But I've been able to engage with it without using the app. I was able to break it down and animate it, and so far it's been going on fine. And moving on, I will keep doing it. It's something I like, it's something I've enjoyed working on. it's engaging for me. It puts me on my toes. It makes me really want to engage with the students, engage with the materials, and also improves myself. Secondly, I plan to empirically gain student perception about it. That is, maybe carry out some research to actually identify, show the two slides to students, and tell them what do they really think about the slide. Perhaps not just me presenting, but at least maybe somebody else presenting, and we can compare what do they think about the different slide. And also perhaps challenge other lecturers to adopting. Again, this can depend on the type of lecture you are delivering, but mine is advertising, marketing, communication, brand management, media planning. So it's been able to I've been able to really compress it so far. So I just thought of sharing that with you, and thank you so much for your interest. If you have any concerns or any ideas or any comment, do not hesitate to get in touch with me. My email address is e.o.mogaji@greenwich.ac.uk and on Twitter at e_mogaji. Thank you.